Welcome this morning to Peace and Plenty Farms, where we are a homestead, off-grid slightly, self-sustaining farm. So I'm encouraging everybody to come grow with us. So this morning I've been weed eating. It's about 9 o'clock. I'm already on my second shirt and about the third white towel that I wipe my face with because it is really hot out here. You may hear 95 behind me, but I'm working on better audio, so we'll see how it goes. But so far today, what I did is I started out with the sickle mower. I had this attachment on the, Stihl weed eater, and I use that to go around the edge of the pond, get the big stuff and the little stuff. I can reach well down in there. Then I switched over to my weed eater head and got all the little stuff up and down the creek. And then I went back with this blade here and got the big stuff that the little weed eater wouldn't get. And I'll pick you up and show you here. You can see around the pond, I was able to reach down the bank and stuff with that sickle mower right there and get the big stuff and the little stuff right there. And then you can see this is where the water comes in right here, comes into the property. And the bank along here, you can see right through here where it cuts up around here and cuts through there and leaves the property. Now they're smaller little canals, but this was very, very low land when we got it. So there's lots of these little canals that come on to the property. I don't know if you can see this one right here. There's a small one right here, and it kind of branches out and heads up to either side of the coop. So water comes in there, and there's probably 4 or 5 more of them down through there. And way over there is where the water comes onto the property. And I'm thinking maybe one day I wouldn't mind having another pond way up there on that side. And you can see where I'm mowing. I've got the Cub Cadet right there. It just needs to have the battery put back in it. And the sickle mower needs a bolt put in it. And I'm going to try to sickle mow that area right through there. And then come back with the hydrostatic Cub Cadet right there and touch it up. But I was out here working this morning, and I thought of a story I wanted to tell you. I'm gonna turn the camera around. Let's see if I can do it while I'm talking. Well, sorry, I can't. But I wanted to tell you something that happened years ago, a story that still shocks me today to think about it. But I was building spec houses, and I had a partner. He was the developer. He would buy the land and clear it and develop it, 100 acres at a time, and put 35 houses in. And I was buying lots from him and building the houses. And I went out to this one piece of property that he had purchased, and I think he had started clearing it, and there was a pond. This was in Georgia, real close to the marsh, in the marshy area of Georgia. And I was out there with Nathan, and he was probably about 2 or 3, really little, still had diapers on, and he was playing on the edge of the bank, just like we have here. But the bank was a little bit steeper, probably about as steep as that is right there. But I had my hand down in his jeans, and he had a little belt on, so I'm holding him, but he's stretched out over the bank, straight out, almost perpendicular off of the bank. And I'm handing him little sticks with my other hand, and he's throwing those sticks into the water. So he was just like straight out from the bank and throwing little sticks in. They were landing right on the edge of the water right there. We were just sitting there enjoying the area, And man, oh man, an alligator came up out of that water. It was so lightning fast, there was absolutely no way, no time to react at all. But fortunately, he saw that it was humans, I guess. He got within 2, maybe 3 foot of Nathan and spun around and dove back down into that that little pond. But he had his jaws open and he was ready to consume whatever was. It sounded to him like something was drinking on the edge of the pond, drinking the water on the edge of the pond, and he was coming up to grab whatever it was, probably thinking it was a raccoon or maybe a small deer or something like that. He was about 4 foot long, I'd say. Later, as they were clearing that property, they did kill a 12-foot alligator out there. So just seeing this bank cleared reminded me of that. Nathan's 26 now, so that's been 23, 24 years ago. But I finished weed eating for now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk along the edge of the bank, and I'm going to get these sticks and things. I'm going to throw them into the middle of the, I've been throwing them in the middle right here, but I'm going to go along and just do a little cleanup along the edge, and that way next time I go to mow or weed eat, those branches won't be in the way. Well, I appreciate you all watching, and we'll see what else we can run into today. I'm going to do a little stick pickup here, then a little stick pickup around the house, and then we'll see what we can do after lunch. Have a great day. Okay, just a quick view of what this terrain looks like. This is where we were talking about the creek that runs through the property here, and how many little canals there are coming up in here. This is the main one right here. Now, I've been throwing these sticks down into here, and they'll wash. That's the easiest. They'll wash right down into the pond when we get the heavy rains in the spring and the thaws that we get in the wintertime. This is flowing with water 8 to 12 inches deep. The one thing about having property in this area in Northern Virginia, where the controls on what you can do with water in your own land are pretty strict, even though the water here is seasonal, I don't have any regulations. I was able to put the pond in without a permit. I was able to fill in the low land and make it into a little creek instead of just wet, soppy ground out here, which the cattle would just tear it up all the time. So I'm gonna try, having it made into little canals, but you couldn't do that if you had an actual little river flowing. If you tried to stop it up and put a water mill or a hydro solar system, you would really run into trouble with that. But this particular piece of land is just outside of county and state controls on water, but it dries up this time of year. It's July, mid-July, so it's plenty hot. So I just picked up everything along the bank here and threw it down in here. This is the culvert that we had put in. Oh, it's not really in, it's just laying there. Traded with a guy. I think a guy gave this to me. Yeah, a friend of mine gave this to me. So I threw it down in here, but it hasn't been, I don't think it's really quite low enough. So we might have to lower it down a little bit, but this is going to be the driveway going right out that way. There's my gates on either side of the wooden part is in. When I was out here weed eating right over here by this pole right there, I scared a cat up out of the woods there. So I went up to the house and got a can of cat food for it. It looked like it might not make it if it doesn't get a meal pretty soon. So people, the road I live on is a cul-de-sac. This is a cul-de-sac right here. And people drop off their cats and dogs and I've seen turtles, gigantic turtles dropped off here, all kinds of stuff. Trash, plenty of trash dropped off back here. So this is what the terrain looks like. I wanted to show you on the other side of this culvert. So now this is going to be the driveway right here where I'm standing. Right in this area, right around in here, I thought about maybe getting another pond put in and just get as much of a pond as deep as I can right there, and then move the dirt over to this area right over here and try to bring this area up a little bit. I don't know if it'll ever be a buildable lot, but if we keep working on it and keep adding dirt and cleaning it up, maybe one day it'll be buildable. We'll see. All right, I probably better, I wanted to say that the sticks I was throwing in the creek were for the catfish. It's a lot easier for me to throw them in there. They're gonna wash on down into the pond, and then it'll make good places for the tadpoles and the catfish to hide in. And where this edge of this bank is so rough and difficult, I'm definitely going to have to invest in a tractor, something with a backhoe and a front bucket. And since the elections are in November, you know, the economy can always be a little shaky before the election. So I'm going to wait until December, which I think will be ideal for me time-wise anyway, December, January, to pull the trigger and get a tractor that I can use to shape the land and drag it and box blade it and smooth it out. So I'm just maintaining it right now. I'm just maintaining, keeping the extra big roots and trees from getting started. Like I said before, it was $10,000 to clear this land, and I don't want to let it get overrun. I feel like I just barely caught it in time. It was on the edge because I had to use 2 different weed eaters to get it knocked down to where it doesn't get overgrown. Some of those little trees were getting pretty thick at the base. Well, I'm out of the sun for now. I think it's about 10 o'clock and that's it. I've got some shaded areas that have sticks that need to be picked up. So I'm gonna head to those shaded areas, 3 or 4 of them, get those areas picked up and loaded into the back of the little Ranger, and then I'm gonna take lunch. So I may see you after lunch. We'll see how it goes, what we can come up with. Have a great day. So usually after lunch, when it's real hot, I try to do projects inside the barn. So I pulled the sickle mower in here, and the U-joint had come off. When I originally put it together, the U-joint on the sickle mower, when I originally put it together, I didn't have a grade 8 bolt, so kind of just used what I had, and I'm paying for it now because I had to redo it. So now it's a grade 8 bolt. It's got 2 lock nuts on it, two lock washers, and then I put 2 nuts to bind it together right there. So I've got that back on. Well, while I was in here, I decided to change the brakes and tighten them up and whatnot. This is the old style that was on here, and I'm using the newer style pads. Seems like they're a little bit more readily available. So I had it all together and found out that this piece was bent. So I've got another one. I'm going to clean it up and use it, but I'm just done for today. I've got the left side finished. I've got all the brake parts in here all changed out and adjusted. And tomorrow I will finish adjusting and installing this side, and put the still need to put the belt on the sickle mower drive belt back on. So one thing about being a homestead farmer and having older equipment, seems like you spend about 3 hours working on it and 1 hour mowing. That tends to be the rule of thumb around here. Well, that's it for today. Remember, it's about the harvest, and I'll see what we can do about giving you a video for tomorrow. Thanks.